The elevator descended to the basement of Carnegie Hall at 11:47 p.m., carrying the last of the evening's audience. But while the world above celebrated another magnificent performance, Marcus Williams was just beginning his. You see, Marcus wasn't a world-renowned pianist. He wasn't a conductor. He wasn't even a ticket taker. Marcus was the night janitor, and tonight, he was about to prove that greatness isn't about the size of your stage, but the size of your heart. What if I told you that the most important performance at Carnegie Hall that night wasn't on the main stage at all? Marcus had worked at Carnegie Hall for 12 years. Every night, he'd arrive as the last notes faded and the crowds dispersed. Armed with his mop, vacuum, and an arsenal of cleaning supplies, he'd transform the chaotic aftermath of artistic brilliance back into pristine perfection. But Marcus saw something others didn't. While most janitors viewed their work as mere necessity, Marcus saw it as artistry. Tonight was different, though. Tomorrow marked the most important audition of young Sofia Chen's life, a 16-year-old prodigy competing for the prestigious Juilliard scholarship. Sofia's family had saved for years just to afford the application fees. This was her one shot. As Marcus began his rounds, he noticed Sofia still sitting in the back row of the empty hall, tears streaming down her face. Her violin case lay open beside her, the instrument gleaming under the dim maintenance lights. "Shouldn't you be heading home, miss?" Marcus asked gently, his voice echoing in the vast space. Sofia looked up, startled. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to be here. Tomorrow's my audition, and I played terribly during practice today. What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough?" Marcus set down his mop and sat in the seat next to her. "You know, I've been cleaning this hall for 12 years. I've seen thousands of performances, some that brought the house down, and some that, well, let's just say they were learning experiences." He pointed to the stage. "But you know what I've learned? The greatest performances aren't always the ones that sound perfect. They're the ones that come from the heart." Sofia wiped her eyes. "Easy for you to say. You don't have to perform in front of judges who could change your entire life." Marcus smiled. "Who says I don't perform?" "What do you mean?" Sofia asked. Marcus stood up and gestured around the hall. "Every night, I perform right here. My stage might be different from theirs," he nodded toward the main stage, "but I do my work like it's the most important performance in the world." He walked over to his cleaning cart, which Sofia now noticed was meticulously organized. Every tool had its place, every supply perfectly arranged. "You see, Sofia, I realized something early on. I may not be able to play Beethoven or conduct a symphony, but I can make sure every single seat in this hall is spotless. I can ensure that every surface gleams, that every corner is dust-free. I can create an environment so perfect that when artists like you step onto that stage, you feel the respect and care that went into preparing it." Marcus began demonstrating his work, and Sofia watched in amazement. He didn't just wipe down seats, he treated each one like it might hold the next great musician. He didn't just vacuum, he moved with the rhythm and precision of a dancer. He didn't just empty trash cans, he did it with the efficiency and care of someone who understood that every small detail mattered. "But it's just cleaning," Sofia protested. "Is it?" Marcus paused his work. "Let me tell you about last month. A famous violinist was performing here, someone you'd definitely recognize. Right before her performance, she noticed that her lucky necklace had broken, and the pendant had fallen somewhere in the theater." He pulled out his phone and showed Sofia a photo, Marcus holding a small, delicate pendant. "The theater management said it was impossible to find in time. But I knew every inch of this place. I'd cleaned it so carefully, so methodically, that I could retrace exactly where someone might have walked, where something might have fallen. I found that pendant in 15 minutes. Sofia's eyes widened. That violinist went on to give what critics called the performance of her lifetime. Was it because of her talent? Absolutely. But was it also because she felt supported, cared for, and confident? I like to think so. Marcus continued his work, but now Sofia saw it differently. She watched as he arranged the programs that had been left behind, stacking them with geometric precision. She observed how he adjusted each chair to the perfect angle, how he polished the brass railings until they reflected the stage lights like mirrors. "I call it the Janitor's Symphony," Marcus explained. "Every movement has a purpose. Every action builds toward the crescendo, the moment when the lights come up tomorrow and everything is perfect for the next artist to create magic." Can you teach me?" Sofia asked quietly. Marcus looked surprised. "Teach you what?" "How to do small things in a great way. How to make cleaning feel like art." For the next hour, Marcus became Sofia's most unlikely teacher. He showed her how to fold programs so they created perfect geometric patterns. He taught her his technique for polishing brass, circular motions that created hypnotic, meditative rhythms. He demonstrated how to arrange chairs not just functionally, but aesthetically, so that even empty, the theater looked like a work of art. As Sofia worked alongside Marcus, something magical happened. The methodical, careful attention to detail began to calm her nerves. The precision required for each small task began to build her confidence. The pride she felt in making something ordinary become extraordinary began to fill the hollow space where her fear had been living. "You know what this reminds me of?" Sofia said as she carefully dusted the armrests of the chairs in row M, practicing scales. "Every note has to be perfect, even though it's just one small part of a larger piece." "Exactly." Marcus beamed. "And when you perform tomorrow, every note you play will be like one of these chairs. Small on its own, but essential to the whole experience." As they worked, Sofia began to tell Marcus about her music, her dreams, her fears. Marcus shared stories of the hundreds of performers he'd watched over the years, some who succeeded despite imperfect technique because they played with heart, others who failed despite perfect technique because they forgot to connect with their audience. "The greatest musicians I've seen," Marcus said as they polished the final section of brass railing, "they all had one thing in common. They understood that every single note mattered. They played scales like they were performing for the gods. They tuned their instruments like it was a sacred ritual. They treated every small aspect of their craft with the same respect they gave to their biggest performances." By 3 a.m., Carnegie Hall had never looked more beautiful. But more importantly, Sofia had never felt more ready. "Marcus," she said as they stood together looking at their work, "I think I understand now. It's not about being perfect. It's about caring so much about what you do that you put your whole heart into every tiny piece of it." "Now you've got it," Marcus smiled. "When you walk onto that stage tomorrow, remember this feeling. Remember that every note you play is like every chair we've cleaned tonight, a small thing done with great love and attention." Sofia picked up her violin and, standing there in the empty, gleaming theater, played a simple scale. But this time, she played it like Marcus cleaned, with intention, with precision, with love for each individual note. The sound echoed through the perfect acoustics of the pristine hall, and for a moment, janitor and musician stood together in the silence that followed. "Thank you," Sofia whispered. "Thank you," Marcus replied. "You reminded me why I love what I do." 6 months later, Sofia Chen was accepted to Juilliard with a full scholarship. In her acceptance letter, she wrote about learning that excellence isn't about the size of your dreams, but about the size of your commitment to every small step that builds toward them. And Marcus? He still works the night shift at Carnegie Hall. But now, tucked into his cleaning cart, he keeps a small framed photo, Sofia on stage at her Juilliard audition, playing her heart out on a stage that gleamed under lights that reflected off brass railings polished to perfection. Every night, as he begins his symphony of small tasks done with great love, Marcus remembers the truth that changed both their lives. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Because sometimes, the most important performances happen when no one is watching. And sometimes, the greatest teachers are found in the most unexpected places. Thanks for watching. Kindly like and subscribe.